What's up, guys? Today's video is going to be a little install on my Legmaker intake I just got. So I'll walk through the steps here. This is really sped up mostly, and I might be missing a few things, but I'll try and cover them. So you're going to take that bolt out in the front I just did. You're going to loosen factory clamp on the throttle body there and unplug the IAT sensor. And then you're going to probably want to use a screwdriver to help you nudge off the breather hose in the back there. Just kind of give it a little push while you're pulling on it with your hand. And it just pops out. Then you're just going to take off the coil cover. Looks like an old school valve cover. Just pops off. It's got like two little things holding it on. And then what I'm doing here is kind of mocking up where I'm going to have to remove the material to fit the intake through. So there's a little clip in there. You're going to pop that off and push it out of the way behind, because you're going to be removing a decent amount of material there so that you can put the intake through it. So grab your Dremel with a little grinding bit on it and just start cutting away at that. It's a little odd angle in there, so you're I kind of made like two cuts initially, kind of almost like a V shape, and then I pretty much just used the edge of the Dremel to just grind it away slowly back and forth until I got enough room. Now I don't show this all here, but I kind of had to keep testing the fit, grinding a little more, checking it again, grinding a little more. And instead of the supplied little surround that protects the edge of the metal there that they give you, I ended up going with some like 1/4 inch hose that I had laying around, because it's a little thicker. It's a tip kind of from B. Mason. I watched his video and he said his was kind of rattling. So I didn't want it to be loose, number one, and I wanted it to have a little more cushion. So I ended up going with the rubber hose instead. So that's something you can do if you want. You will have to grind it out a little bigger for that, because the hose is a little thicker. So once you get that done, underneath here there's 4 rivets I'm removing to the brake duct right there that hold the brake duct to the inner fender. And then there's some other rivets right here you're going to have to remove. I think there's 2 right there, and then 1 underneath. You're going to have to remove that. And then you got to go underneath the car. You'll probably want to jack it up to get some space. And there's screws in the very front, 8 of them. There's 3 pop rivets. There's 2 bolts. The bolts that if you do change your oil, you have to remove like 4 bolts. Well, it's the front 2. It's just so you can pull down that undercover right there. Somehow I didn't get that on video, so I don't know if the battery died. I had to switch batteries twice during this. It was a long install. The grinding and testing, that took a big chunk of time. And then there's a rivet up inside here I'm trying to show you right now for the front of the brake duct. You have to remove that. There's also one on the top that you can't really see, but you can pretty much just pull the brake duct down and it releases from that one. So that was easy at that point. And then a whole bunch of rocks come out and stuff that's stuck up in there. And there's a wire on the edge of the brake duct before you pull it all the way out. It's to the fog light. It's just a little harness kind of holding it there. You just pop that little hold out. So now that the brake duct's out, you can basically put your intake tube through there, and you're going to secure the filter underneath. You don't have to do it right away. You can do it last, whatever, but it has to go from underneath the car to connect to that. Now, I had already put the IAT sensor in that lower intake part there, so it has a rubber O-ring in there, and you're just going to want to hold that O-ring while you press the IAT sensor into that tube. And then here I'm just checking the fitting of all the couplers and the tubes, so before you tighten it all down. It's pretty much the easy part, other than just getting the couplers on the tubes enough, before you tighten them down. So kind of just line everything up, make sure it's all happy where it is, and then tighten everything down. And you're going to want to obviously, they give you an extension for the IAT sensor, so you're going to have to plug that in because it won't reach all the way there. So there's an extension, plug that into your IAT sensor. Also put the little breather in. I shortened the hose that normally goes to the air box under the coil cover there. You can see it briefly sticking out, and that just slips right into the factory breather hose. So just put that in, and however you like, you can have it run out and be out, or you can tuck it underneath like I did. There's also an extra hose clamp that he gives you that I used right at the base of the intake before it goes through that hole to kind of just keep it from slipping down any further. So you just clamp it to the carbon fiber and then it can't slide down. So I used it for that, and then you can see underneath there's the filter, so you'd put that on there, tighten it up nice, and then basically bolt everything back up. Now where the brake duct was, there's just a hole now open from the wheel to the air filter. I don't know if that would cause a problem for people getting crudted up possibly by tire, you know, crap flying up on it. So I know OCD covered that hole. I kind of want to leave it open, so I'm probably going to cover it with some screen somehow, just to kind of keep stuff from flying in there, but allow air to still pass through. That's kind of my idea at this point. Here's a quick sound clip from under the hood. So that about wraps up the install. I'll have some impressions on it in probably my next video on what I think of it so far. But if you have any questions, hit me up down below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Later.